Yes, and if I could ask everyone just to mute themselves, and then if you do have questions, feel free to unmute and ask, or you could put it in the chat, whichever you feel most comfortable. And Judy, just so I could be mindful of everyone's time, how much time would you like to dedicate to the Windstar presentation here?
Can you do like 15 minutes?
Yeah, that's perfect. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So thank you everyone for joining. My name is Melissa Nessenson. I am a Windstar fan, fanatic, I guess you could say. I've sailed on Windstar about 6 times, and I've been with the Windstar sales team now. This month, actually, I'm in my 10th year, so I am hooked. I am hooked. And just so I can ask, have any of you sailed with us yet? Not yet. Okay. And well, I hope that after this presentation, you will be inspired to take a look at our wonderful itineraries, and Judy and her team are going to be happy to help you find the right itinerary for you. And we've got some beautiful itineraries, and we'll show you a couple examples of that. But I really wanted to tell you a little bit more about what makes Windstar unique. Since we are not a household name, we don't advertise a whole lot, but we've been around for 40 years just on repeat business and word of mouth. So you know it's got to be pretty good, right? And one thing that really makes us stand out is that we are yacht style cruising. Now, some of you may have been on small ships before, but this is really unique because we have ships that hold less than 350 guests. So there's a lot of small ship companies that hold 2,000 people, 1,000 people, 900 people, 600 people. But when you get into ships that hold between a less than 150 and the largest less than 350, boy, that's a whole nother category. So I always say, forget what you think you know about cruising. This is really something special. And we imagine and deliver personalized immersive experiences that are 180 degrees from ordinary. And that's been our tagline now for 40 years, our mission statement. And it's a blueprint for everything Windstar does, from their itineraries to the onboard enrichment, to the entertainment on board, to the unique shore excursions that are hand curated. And really, we challenge ourselves as a company to try to find these wonderful destinations that are many times hard to reach by other ships. We like to go into more off the beaten path places, and really spend more time ashore, and to really, for you to have an opportunity to really get to know the people and the places that you're visiting. So it really truly is a unique, hand curated experience. So to summarize, and we'll talk about this in the next 10 minutes or so, we'll be covering this. I wanted to tell you about our main features of Windstar. We have two different styles of ships. We have classic sailing yachts. Those are the original Windstar ships. So when you think Windstar, I know you're probably thinking of a sailing ship because that's who we've been for many years. But under our current ownership, we have expanded actually. We also have all suite motor yachts. So we have Wind class and Star class. So the name Windstar Cruises, that describes two different styles of ships, Wind class and Star class. And those ships do have access to smaller ports, and we do have really unique onboard experiences. We can offer immersive experiences. We call in some of the most popular marquee ports, and we could also reach small places, small cities and villages that are really hard to reach. So it's a mixture of larger popular ports, but maybe it's a harbor that's hard to get to by other ships, and we can go off the beaten path. So we spend a lot of time ashore, as I mentioned. If there's entertainment ashore, we're gonna stay. If there's a lot to do in the evening, I should say, we're gonna stay late night or overnight. On a smaller yacht, you just get deeper connections with your fellow passengers and also the crew. You get really personalized service. We have almost a one-to-one guest to crew ratio, if you can imagine. That's really almost unheard of these days. And so when you sail with us, you really feel like you're part of a yacht club. You're not just one of, thousands of people on that vessel. It's really all about you, and the crew are really, really fabulous, and they really do a great job, and they're going to make sure you're having fun. And we do go to some really diverse destinations on these beautiful ships. So this is what our ships look like. The Wind class, of course, those are the ones with the sails. The Star class ships on the top, and we actually have 8 large yachts. We have 2 new ships. We just inaugurated Star Seeker in December of last year, and Star Explorer is coming out in December of this year. So I love classic yachts, but I can't deny I also like new ships too. So it's really great to have the choice of both, and they all have such personalities. And on all of the ships, we do have amazing cuisine. We have great selections of wines and liqueurs, and we have it's a yacht, but we have the amenities of a luxury cruise ship. Now it's not ultra luxury, so don't worry about bringing your ball gowns and the high heels and all the fancy jewelry and whatnot. This is yacht style, so that also sets us apart. Is it this could be very casually elegant, elegant but yet relaxed, and all of our ships have a really relaxed vibe that feels really like being on a yacht. And this is just some examples of what the interiors look like. So beautiful, beautiful tones, contemporary, but also very classic and just lovely. Those were the all suite yachts, and then we have the sailing ships. The sailing ships are in the process of being redone. We redid all the public areas, so these are some images of the new lounge, the wine room, our main restaurant, Amphora. We've added some. We redid some of the suites, and by the end of 2027, all of the ships will have had their refresh. So the Star Class ships were already refreshed, and then we have the two brand new ships, and now the sailing ships are being refreshed. So we're doing that in just projects instead of taking the ships out of service for unlimited amount of time. We're doing just projects. So all the public rooms have been redone, and then the staterooms and suites, many of them are redone, and they will all be redone by the end of 2027. So it's really a unique thing to have large yachts that can go off the beaten path. But to make it most convenient for you to get to the yacht, we do fly. I'm sorry, you would fly to these major cities around the world. So this is just where we leave from or come back to. So we do have an air department, and also Judy can use her resources and see, what pricing she has on air, and when she can compare and see what has the best schedules for you for air, and the best prices as well. But we're happy to offer air packages and pre and post cruise and other pack tours, pre and post tours also through Windstar, which we hand curate. So I love this map. It really paints a big picture because a lot of folks think of Windstar and they think of us in the Caribbean, but they don't realize we're almost all over the world. So the place that started it all is in Tahiti, which is the little dot on the left side of the screen. That's Papeete. That's where the international airport is located in Tahiti, and the Tahitian islands have hundreds of islands, and we go to many of them. And that's year round. There's no hurricane season, there's no winter, and the weather is always beautiful. We're also year round in the Mediterranean because the western and southern Med is also quite lovely year round. It's not as hot and sticky as the summer. It is sweater weather, which I enjoy. I live in Florida, but I'm from Chicago, so anytime I can bring out my sweaters, I'm very happy. I did the winter in the Med twice, and I loved it. I've done the summer in the Med also, and that's really beautiful too. But there's something for me special about walking around these beautiful harbors when it's not real crowded. So that's year round. So everywhere else you see would be seasonal. We go to 86 countries, over 320 ports. So picture a lot of little dots along those coastlines. Many places that you may never have heard of, but they're absolutely picture perfect and beautiful. And once you visit, you'll be unforgettable. 187 different itineraries, including ocean crossings if you like a lot of time at sea. Those are really fun. There's themed cruises, and there's even mystery voyages where you know what region of the world you're going, you know where you're flying to and flying from, but the actual ports are a mystery until 36 hours prior to arrival in that port. And we have a big cocktail party and a big reveal party, and everyone's guessing and trying to bet on where we're going tomorrow and the next day. And it's really kind of cool. So if you like unique experiences, places that you probably haven't been, and places Windstar hasn't been, little ports along different regions, that's an exciting one as well. So we have lots of destination-rich itineraries, fewer crowds, smaller ports, and beautiful itineraries. Does anyone know where this picture is taken? This is in Greece, the Corinth Canal, which is a man-made wonder, and it cuts right through Greece. And we are one of the only cruise ships in the world that can traverse the canal. And this canal is so narrow. I mean, it's only about maybe 8 inches on either side of the vessel. And we're actually tugged by a little tugboat you could see in the front of that picture. But this is the front of the ship, and it's just, it's really that magical. It's gorgeous. So this is an example of places that yachts can go that bigger ships can't go. We like to find those unique places where the river meets the ocean. So we can also go into various, not just channels and canals, but rivers and going through locks and following closer on the ocean coastline to many places that bigger ships can't go. And it's, less dependent on shuttle buses because we usually dock right in the heart of a destination or tender right there. So very short tenders, or we dock right in town. So shorter distance from the ship to sightseeing. You don't usually have to walk through the giant industrial cruise terminals like the big ships. You're right there. Usually municipal marinas, public docks, and even private marinas. And sometimes we just anchor out places that there are no marinas, and we'll do either a tender boat, or in some of the more exotics, we do Zodiac boat wet landings. I did that in Costa Rica and in Mexico. It was pretty amazing. Just like a true mariner getting into a Zodiac, and they'll help our guests to get into the Zodiacs. It's actually kind of easy because they have a loading platform. So this is not stock photography. This is actually one of our friends in Tahiti. He's a tribal chief, and he has been coming to greet our ship for about 20 years now. He very rarely leaves his village, only when the Windstar ship comes to the area. So he takes his personal pontoon down the only navigable river in Tahiti, and he loves to wait for the ship and greet us with his horns. And they have, like, sometimes they'll have the school children coming and doing little dances and stuff. It's really quite a thrill. We do invite the locals on board so they can show off their culture and their dances and dance classes and all kinds of neat things. I have a quick video. Judy, do we have a time for a quick video? It's about 2 minutes long. Oh, I'm sorry, you're on mute. Can you give me a thumbs up? Okay. This video is narrated by our company president, Chris Prelog, who started working on cruise ships when he was 18 years of age as a dishwasher, and he really didn't like life at sea, but his father told him to stick with it. And guess what? Now he's the president of Windstar, and one of the ships that he started on is actually in our fleet now. It's a former Seabourn yacht. So how amazing to go from dishwasher to president of Windstar. And he just loves Tahiti, and he loves to share his feedback with you.
Windstar's roots are in French Polynesia. What makes us the expert in French Polynesia is just how immersive the experience on board our ships really is. The people, the cultures, and the warmth and friendliness which comes with it. And then you pair this with the beauty of the islands, and you've never seen as many shades of blue and turquoise in the water. You have a match made in heaven. It's paradise. Being on a small yacht in French Polynesia is just the perfect way of seeing these islands. First of all, every day you wake up in the morning, you open your curtains and you see another beautiful spot in this lovely country. On a small yacht, it's perfect because we can go into bays where the big ships just can't go. Because we've been here since 35 years, we've really deep-rooted relationships with the local population. You get to meet Tihoti when you go up the Faro River on a private boat, and he explains to you how nature and humans are interacting, and you stop and get fresh coconuts and fresh fruits, and you get to learn about how the river interacts and helps flourish everything there is. So it's really deep, immersive experiences such as this one, which are led by our local partners, which make it a unique experience.
I'm going to move move on from there because I know we're kind of running out of time. So I just want to let you know that that's just an example. We do have local immersion in really all of the regions we visit, and we have hand curated shore excursions that have a variety of different categories: essentials, concierge collection, and beyond ordinary. They do range in price, usually from $75 on up, depending on the experience. We also have complimentary private events in certain destinations, no cost. They are amazing. When we do an overnight in Bora Bora in Tahiti, we have our celebration festival there on a little uninhabited island, or in Iceland in a little Icelandic fishing village that's turned into a music and art scene, like an artist colony. That's really cool. That's the Blue Church, which is also the only rock and roll venue in the area. And there's lots of little art galleries and a little wine bar and a little brewery, and it's really kind of charming. A little fishing village turned into like an artist haunt. And then all of our Greek Isle cruises have an evening in ancient Ephesus for a beautiful private dinner under the stars in the ruins of the Celsus Library, or the ruins of the amphitheater. It's just, the history is just amazing. So those are included. Those you don't have to sign up for. Those, and there's other ones too in Japan and a few other places as well. In the tropics and in the Caribbean and Tahiti, we have beach barbecues on pretty much most of our itineraries, with the exception of transatlantic, because we're not making any stops. You can ask what days the chefs are going ashore. If you're a foodie and you like culinary experiences, our chefs do go to those wonderful farmers markets, bazaars, family farms, and they source all those great fresh ingredients. You can just ask what days the chefs going ashore. Would they like to have any help carrying grocery bags back to the yacht? Because they certainly do appreciate that, and they love to interact with the food vendors, and you really get a great education about the spices and the produce and the things, the various fish and things like that of those areas. And then we showcase all those great provisions, local provisions, at the best on deck barbecue party at sea, and that is so much fun. Windstar is fun. That's a word I like to say a lot. It is definitely a fun trip, but it's also relaxing. We want it to feel like home at sea. So, kick your shoes off, relax, read a book. This is all about relaxation, but also meeting friends and sharing bottles of wine out on deck and interacting with the crew. And this really feels like a home at sea. And we all even have swimming off the back of the ship. That's really fun. Snorkeling and swimming, and those great kayaks and paddle boards. Those kayaks, by the way, get a lot of use in Alaska too, because we do have Alaska cruises where we can launch those glacial kayaks and Zodiac boats right from the ship. We've added on to this aqua cabana. There's all kinds of like flotation little couches and all kinds of cool stuff. So you could actually walk all around on that aqua cabana, and then jump in for a nice little dip, and you can snorkel right off the back of the ship, weather permitting. The crew are amazing. They're really more than crew. They're the Windstar family. Many of them have lived on board for 10 years or longer. And all of us at Windstar are guest obsessed. We try to be open and inviting. We love to really show the guests a great time. It's casual yet polished, lighthearted and genuine. It's five-star dining, five-star service without that big price tag, because Windstar is also known as very affordable luxury. So those are words you don't always get to use in the same sentence, right? Affordable luxury. But definitely it's a fun environment. And the crew works so hard to entertain you. We have a wonderful talent show, which you cannot miss. It is so much fun. And that's just one example. But we also bring locals from the places we're visiting to entertain and showcase their local dances and their entertainment. And even the captains and staff captains are welcoming. And yes, ladies, they are that good looking. So you might find me up there to chat with a captain or staff captain. The doors open till 10:30 at night. So on a clear night, be sure to go up there. They'd love to take you out stargazing under the stars. It's really fun. But don't be afraid to ask, can I see the charts? I'd love to see the radar. Can you show me around? And they love it. They look forward to that. And if they offer you a cup of coffee, say yes. They have some of the best coffee at the bridge, because they got to keep the captains, awake. And they have the bridge roast, it's called. So say yes if they offer you a cup of coffee. So I hope that paints an example of like what makes us different from a major cruise ship. It's a yacht style trip, and even from the captain on down, everybody's super friendly. And we want this to be as inclusive as you want to be as far as what's included on the cruise. We want to give you a very attractive starting price point, and you can decide what extras you want to to add on. So we don't feel like you should be forced to buy something you might not, be taking advantage of. We call it luxury as you like it, and I think we're one of the only cruise lines in the world that offers a per person choice. So if you're sharing the room with a spouse or a friend or a sister or whomever, you can do your own thing and they can do theirs. We don't force you both to get the drink package. That wouldn't be fair. So basically, everything would be included in the left column, cruise only. All your meals. We're the official cruise line of the James Beard Foundation, so you know it's going to be high-end culinary. Everything you see there would be included. 24-hour room service, your non-alcohol beverages, that awesome barbecue party, access to the marina at the back of the ship, fitness center, your gym, yoga classes, movies, really good first-run movies. Don't forget there's complimentary fresh popped buttered popcorn through room service. So if you're enjoying a movie, make sure you order some popcorn. It goes well together. And then for an additional cost, you can get everything in that cruise only column, plus your Wi-Fi, your alcohol, and your tips. It's a difference of $99 per person per day. Maybe you want that. Maybe the person you're sharing the room with doesn't. This is completely up to you. But I think it's a great value and it really is very convenient. So that only adds 99 per person per day. And as I mentioned, we're the official cruise line of the James Beard Foundation, five-star culinary, but there are no dining surcharges, even in our alternate supper club. So I wanted to mention that Judy is putting together some groups, actually, one for this year and one coming up next year. She may have already introduced you to these, but these are really, really special. So Judy's featured 2026 group cruise still has space available. It's the Windward Islands Surf and Sunset. Ooh, Judy, I have my eye on this one. I have a December birthday, so you might find me on board. So 7 days of surf and sand and sun and beautiful sunsets. This is part of the Western Indies. There's snorkeling, colorful reefs, volcanic shorelines, the mountains, green mountains just absolutely glimmer. There's historic ruins, there's forts from the pirate days, and it's just the locals are so welcoming. They want us to come back again and again because they don't like the mega ships. They take over their village, but they love Windstar because we're respectful. We leave a gentle footprint, and they really love us. So the locals are really excited to roll out the red carpet, little tiny towns and hidden harbors, very laid back vibe. So definitely check with Judy. She can go over pricing and availability, but she does also have special group rates and shipboard credits as well. And just for attending or listening to this recording or this webinar, you'll also have a special incentive as well to get some extra shipboard credits. You can spend a little money on the ship. So this is a beautiful cruise, December 6th through the 13th. It's 7 nights on a beautiful yacht, Star Pride, one of our all-suite yachts, which holds 312 guests. She has walk-in closets in every room. You have a nice living room area. There's they put brand new bathrooms on not long ago, so every bathroom is brand new. It's just an awesome ship. You're gonna love it. It's one of my favorites. So that is gonna be December of this year. Space is very, very limited, of course, because we only hold 312 guests. So please let Judy know if this is of interest. Going into Marigot of St. Martin, going into Guadeloupe, Becua, a little tiny beautiful island, Becua, Myra, Granada, and back and round trip San Juan. So it's easy to get flights into San Juan. And so when you go on our website, you can see we have shore excursions for all of these different destinations. They are optional, but they're fantastic. And then next year, if you wanted to plan ahead, we do have travel and tours with Judy sailing on the beautiful Wind Spirit, a beautiful sailing ship, 148 guests, and not a sailboat. So you're not going to get seasick. People ask me that all the time. Nope, these are sailing yachts. They have stabilizers. They're very calm. They have engines. We don't rely on wind power, but when the conditions are right, the captains love to show off and put those sails up, and we just glide. Can you imagine, about 10,000 tons under sails only? It's pretty amazing. So this would actually be another one of my bucket lists because I have been to Venice. I'd love to go back. Very few ships actually are allowed to go into Venice. We're one of maybe like three in the whole world that are able to go into Venice because of our small size. So actually like docking in the Venice Harbor, Venice Lagoon, just footsteps from all the action. And Venice to Dubrovnik. Dubrovnik I've not been to. It is on my bucket list. Beautiful, beautiful old town. Great little shops. It's in Croatia's oldest quarter. border. But so this would be a perfect voyage for discovering Italy, Croatia, Slovenia, beautiful beaches. There's walking and hiking on the shady medieval paths and lanes. Lots of local treats. They have bustling farmers markets, small little villages. There's gorgeous basilicas. You can visit multiple UNESCO heritage sites. There's vineyards. There's so many cool things. You can sample like the artisan breads and the artisan olive oils and local foods. And we even have shore excursions where a local family brings you into their own home, and they have lunch for our guests. I mean, it's really cool. That's optional. So there's so many great things to say about this itinerary. So we have these steps that the water actually goes through the steps and makes like a sound of like a musical instrument. So I heard that is a real treat. And are you still hearing me okay, Judy? Because I got a message that my internet is unstable. Okay, great. Thank you. We'll move on. So a lot of folks ask us, is Windstar senior friendly? Yes, I would say absolutely yes. In fact, we have folks that have been loyal to us for 40 years. We've been in business 40 years. So I wanted to mention that one of the great things about a small ship like Windstar, there's less walking, less waiting, you're closer access to the destination than larger ships, less standing in long lines, you're not waiting for elevators. We do have accessible accommodations available on some of the ships if you or your travel companion needs a modified room. We do also have very personalized service, very personalized attention that you wouldn't really find on the larger cruise ships. This is a great benefit of our small guest count. And the ports we visit are typically ideal for senior travelers. Now, I don't want to mislead you. Not every port a Windstar goes to is physically easier than places the big ships go, because some destinations, of course, will include cobblestone streets and uneven walkways and tender operations. But that adds the value of using Judy and her team to find the right itinerary for you and the right things, for you. So, but you'll get closer to the destination. We can also often dock in smaller ports closer to town centers, rather than taking lengthy shuttle rides from big cruise terminals. And access to large ports that larger ships can't visit, and more flexibility. So you're not going to feel overwhelmed by crowds returning to the ships, because those big ships have just huge lines out all the way down the gangway, and it's just not my cup of tea. Maybe you've done that with the kids and the grandkids, and you're looking to do something very unique and more relaxed, and overall, a calmer atmosphere and easier to navigate. So it's an excellent choice. Keeping in mind some of these are tender, some may be tender ports, so there may be a transfer between the ship and shore. We do have crew members that can assist guests, but we just, if anyone does have mobility issues,
We
just,
love.
please let Judy know so we can just make sure that this is going to work well for you. The water sports platform also has some stairs, but our guests do have to have some mobility to be able to walk to get up and up onto the most of our ships. Some of our ships have a stair climber if someone cannot do stairs, but we really think that guests should be at least able to do, comfortable walking independently and things like that. So if there's concerns, we do have an access desk that can let you know how accessible each of the ships are. But if you or your client or your friends have any mobility issues, I would say the brand new ship Star Seeker are number one most mobility friendly. The Star Legend, Star Pride, and Star Breeze are three all-suite yachts, classic yachts. They do also have an elevator and a stair climber. The Windsurf has no stair climber, but she does have an elevator. And our two smaller ships, Windspirit, Windstar, please keep in mind they do not have an elevator on board, but there's only like two passenger decks, so it's pretty easy to get around. So I mentioned there is a all-inclusive package, which would be a difference of $99 per guest per day. I want to let you know, if you book with Judy by November 30th or sooner, because availability is limited, you will get the all-inclusive package at no extra cost to you. That is a value of $99 per guest per day for your cruise. So you're going to get free gratuities and free Wi-Fi and unlimited cocktails, wine by the glass, and also beer. That's most voyages. There are some exceptions, and it is capacity controlled. So you do want to, that means there's, they do limit these things. So you don't want to be the last to book. Definitely contact contact Judy for details. And if you join one of her groups, Judy has some discounted group rates. She also has shipboard credit, 100 per person of free spending money on the yacht. If you're a solo traveler, you do just get the $100. But if you're traveling with someone in the room, you guys have $200 to spend at the spa, the gift shop. You could book excursions on the yacht, use it or lose it. So you definitely want to spend it. Maybe you want to buy bottles of wine, whatever your heart desires on board. And then if you book by August 31st, just by listening to this presentation, you'll have the extra shipboard credit. So it's 100 per person shipboard credit just for listening to this presentation. And that's August 31st is the expiration date. And if the group has enough folks, we're going to have a really wonderful, fun, private group cocktail reception on board. So, of course, these are a couple options, joining Judy's groups. But if you have something special, an anniversary, a special birthday, something coming up, and you want to talk to Judy and her team about all other dates as well, we've got lots of dates that have special rates right now. So we hope you'll join us for personalized immersive experiences, 180 degrees from ordinary with Windstar. And please reach out to Judy with any questions that you may have. But I'm happy to stay on. I see there is a one comment in the chat box, so I'm happy to stay.
So